Around the world, many cultures have told stories of creatures that we today refer to as vampires, with a thirst for human blood. But in the floodplains of northern Brazil, the natives of the region have told tales of one of the world's most bizarre vampiric creatures. Don't be fooled, as its oddity may only be matched by its lethality. Welcome to Cryptid Corner, the series all things cryptids, and today we're going to look into the Capélobo. Our story today takes us to the Brazilian states of Maranhão and Para. Yeah, that's right, you're going to Brazil, buddy. These states are well known for their wilderness, with Para being at the outlet to the great Amazon River, which flows water into the all encompassing Amazon rainforest. As you know, the Amazon is the world's largest rainforest, so large that it dwarfs the Congo rainforest, which is the second largest in the world, by more than 3 times. And as this alone, it makes up over half of the total rainforest in the world. More than half of the rainforest territory in the world is in the Amazon alone. That is just wild to think about. These regions have been inhabited by people for thousands of years, with them encountering a wealth of South America's most fascinating wildlife. But living in the floodplains of the region, there is said to live a fierce creature that must be avoided at all costs. The Capélobo is a creature whose appearance is not totally agreed upon, but one thing that is for certain is that it is extremely dangerous and is to be avoided by all costs. You see, the Capélobo does have vampiric qualities, but it also has some werewolf like characteristics, with the lobo part of its name translating to wolf in Portuguese. And the other part of its name, the Capé part, it either translates to bush or broken bone. Not certain which one it translates to. But according to legend, the Capelobo is able to switch between two forms. The animal form is said to be something like a large tapir, but has some wolf like features. Like it's a little more streamlined, it's a little skinnier. It's not quite a tapir, it's something else. But their most iconic form is their humanoid form, possessing a robust man like body that is covered in matted fur, sharp claws, horse like legs ending in hooves, and a head resembling either a tapir, a pig, or an anteater. Some more distinct features are also present in Capelobo depictions, such as them only having one eye or one leg, with a mention of massive fangs as well. Although a lot of these features are thought to have been inspired from other legends, such as the Mapinguari. The Mapinguari seems to have a lot of overlap with the Capelobo. We'll get into that in a little more. But on that note, Capelobos also are said to emit a foul odor, strong enough to leave anyone in their presence to grow sick from the smell, often taking weeks to recover just from a whiff. It is almost as smelly as a Smash player. In their humanoid form, Capelobos stand 2 meters tall, about 6.5 feet, even though they are hunched over like an anteater, and are extremely carnivorous, with a preference towards livestock and pets, like cats and dogs. And to make this even worse, Capelobos prefer younger prey, like calves and kittens and puppies. Pure evil. Despite this, a Capilobo will not hesitate to make a lone hunter in the woods at night its meal, gripping the poor soul in a tight grip and slurping out the blood vampire style. But Capilobos are also known to go for the brain, meaning they'll kind of like hold you down. They'll either puncture either in your head or go right in your ear and start slurping out brain matter. Capilobos are also known to let out dreadful screams, so loud that they can be heard 10 miles away, and are so terrifying that it'll force even the toughest of men to become paralyzed with fear. And good luck trying to take one of these on, because their matted fur is thought to be bulletproof, and even beneath their fur, they have an extremely dense hide that is also impenetrable to gunfire. And it is said that the only way to kill one is to thrust a spear either into its eyes or into the navel. Basically, they got a video game weak spot. To best minimize your chances of being attacked by a Capélobo, do not hunt on a Sunday night. The humanoid body may be more of a coincidence as well, as according to legend, when old men approach their final days, they may wander off into the wilderness, and as they wander, they will turn into Capélobos themselves. Perhaps their preference for domesticated animals is a sort of weaponization of their memory, preying on familiar animals and even people like friends and family members that they may be familiar with. And to make it even more disturbing, their preference for young prey, Dr. Disrespect style, could be kind of like out of jealousy of their advanced aging, or it might even be an attempt to kind of revert back to a younger humanoid form. According to some of the legends, some of these Capelobos can go into human form. I heard that once. I don't know if that's for sure. Perhaps if they, like, get a certain quota, they go back into human form, and they have to keep that up, which that's also kinda messed up. The Capilobo is quite a bizarre creature, so what could have possibly have inspired such a wicked tale? Here on Cryptid Corner, we take the wilder explanations and work our ways down, and to any long-term fans of Cryptid Corner, you already know what the first one's gonna be, as Capilobo is a cryptid that is often lumped in with the Mapinguari, with it sometimes even being seen as kind of a regional variant of the Mapinguari, or as kind of an umbrella name for it, to where the original Capilobo legend starts to kind of just get blurred over and it's just synonymous with the Mapinguari. However, the most plausible explanation to the Mapinguari is a giant ground sloth. Yes, we're back to ground sloths. Big Sloth is back. Perhaps medium-sized ground sloth encounters could have inspired the Cape Lobo, at least in parts of its appearance. We all know that ground sloths were herbivores, rarely, if ever, eating meat, let alone hunting down animals in the dead of the night. But perhaps ground sloths were either generally hostile, which we don't really know how they behaved, or they were remembered as hostile beasts due to them resisting the hunters in sort of a last ditch effort. Of course, other features regarding ground sloths doesn't match, like the anteater head. I don't think they had any trunks or anything. There's no evidence to support that they had a proboscis, but perhaps, the upright posture could have inspired it. But while we're talking about xenarthrans, anteaters seem to play one of the biggest roles when it comes to the Capilobo's depiction, at least the more modern and widespread depiction. Anteaters are pretty damn weird, with their long ass snouts, their panda bear looking arms, their bushy ass tails. Hell, even their diet is whack, exclusively feasting upon ants and termites, along with parts of the mound that they may slurp up. But as cool as they are, they can be quite dangerous if threatened, as they will post up on their hind legs, with them slicing open jaguars and even people on occasion with their sharp claws because they felt threatened. And I feel like if you're cooking up some good old local folklore and you got something as wild as an anteater walking around in your backyard, you just gotta use them for a monster design. And given how aggressive they can be if provoked, that just adds more fuel to the fire. Imagine if, instead of they ate ants, they ate your brain out of your head. You really thought that at one point. Capilobos also seem to have elements of a sort of boogeymanish tale. The legend is also said to originate from indigenous groups. However, the detail of them attacking hunters on Sunday nights is pretty interesting, as hunting on Sundays can be seen as a sin in certain denominations of Christianity, and hunting at night in general is very dangerous, let alone in the Brazilian wilderness, near if not in the Amazon rainforest itself. Making it creatures that resemble tapirs and anteaters is also a really interesting thing to do because it does tell basically anyone who bumps into a tapir or an anteater, don't mess with it because both of them can fuck you up. Tapir can fuck you up. Yeah, I bet you didn't know that. Yeah, a lot of people get injured by tapirs every year. Additionally, making domesticated animals their prey of choice also encourages people to take better care of their livestock and their pets. And if your goats are safe from a 2-meter tall death monster, then they're probably safe from something like a jaguar. The Capélobo is a pretty damn weird vampire creature, were ant eater thingy that is just as dangerous as it is whack. It's kind of a vampire. It's kind of a lycanthrope, which is what you think a werewolf is. It's somewhat of a mapanguari, and it's also kind of a chupacabra if you think about it, because they eat goats. Goats are on the menu, and they eat the prey by slurping them dry. Pause. So it's a goat sucker. And although the idea of a predatory Xenarthran walking around is very cool and extremely terrifying, given how just weird Xenarthrans are in general, it does seem that the Capélobo only lives within the folklore of the Para and Barano regions, inspired by the creatures who roam amongst the peoples who have lived in the mouth of the Amazon for generations. And that's going to do it for the Capélobo. This is very interesting, looking into a good old Brazilian cryptids. I do know Brazilian cryptids can get kind of wild, with the Mapinguari kind of being a bit of an introduction to the cryptids of Brazil from me. But this is a nice little standalone video on a Brazilian cryptid. Anyways, I'd like to thank you all for watching. This was just a very neat cryptid to cover. I couldn't really find too many sightings of it, but I do know down there a lot of people claim that the Capélobo lives amongst them, and it is pretty interesting. I mean, it's that region in general. So many different animals than what I'd be used to up here in America. But as always, I'd like to thank you for watching. If you like this video, make sure to leave a like. What did you think about it? What did you think about the anteater demon? Go ahead and leave a comment down below what you thought about it. If you have any other explanations that I didn't come to, you leave that below. Or any other recommendations, make sure to subscribe if you like this kind of content. Plenty more coming out. And ring that bell to stay notified. And as always, I will see you in the next one. Goodbye. Let's get that 10K, baby!